So, gentlemen, colleagues, friends, it starts our second year in operation for HFTP Future Entrepreneurs. I wanted to thank you all for coming and definitely thank everyone for the support. We've had many great events and we're looking forward to having many more. Some things to look forward to: a pop-up dinner for all of our esteemed advisors, FIU faculty, anyone that works with us as students to continue growing. We're going to throw a party for you at the end of the semester, ran by the students. It's going to be ultra luxury and more details to come.
Where is the money coming from? Just kidding.
That I'll figure out, no worries. So we're looking forward to many more conferences monthly this semester. We're going to do more blog posts on the website, and we're going to hopefully do another course this summer. Maybe Pablo does it again, or
Summer B, we can do it.
Definitely.
If you want the HF, yeah, we can do it.
And also, if they'll convince, possibly we'll do an IT class, and I'll speak with him about that.
That is that guy.
That would be awesome. So without further ado, my guest and good friend, Corey Braithwaite, FIU alumni, and current Assistant Director of Sales at the Turnberry Isle Resort in Miami. So please give him a hand.
Great. So just a little bit about myself. This is pretty much my 25th year in the hospitality industry. I spent 3 years in operations and 22 years in sales overall. I started my career in Philadelphia and I spent pretty much most of it there. And then in 2003, having worked for Starwood Hotels and Resort, I had the opportunity to transfer here to South Florida. So it was a great opportunity, and I left all the snow behind in the Northeast and said I'm coming to sunny South Florida. So it's been great, and I'm pretty much, it's maybe my 9th or 10th hotel that I've actually worked in. So majority has actually been in resorts, and I've done the casino, the golf resort as well, downtown, as well as suburban properties as well. But it's been a great opportunity for me. When you look at the sales aspect, where I've actually started from, and pretty much worked my way up from there as well. So that's basically my overall little background being in the industry. I don't really want to talk much about me as well, but I kind of will talk about the industry overall as well, and ask some questions for you, and see how I can actually assist you or direct you into your professional development or growth in terms of where you want to see yourself going in the future as well. Like I said, I haven't been in this industry for 22 years now, especially on the sales side as well. There's many opportunity for growth potential as well, especially if you want to do sales, if you want to do catering, if you want to actually do revenue management as well. Those are great opportunities as well in the hotel side as well. Let me just ask, show of hands, anyone specifically want to be on the sales side, the hotel side rather, or do you want to do other operations basically in the industry?
Most interested in sales.
In sales, okay.
Interested.
Operations.
Operations,
I'd
okay.
say the same, yeah, operations.
Operations.
What, in hospitality or you're flexible or restaurant, hotel, anyway?
Well, hotels, I would say.
You like hotels?
Yeah, hotels.
Same.
Okay. So I'll give you my opinion on the operations versus the sales side of it as well. The sales side of it basically, actually from your point of view, sitting on the side as well in operations, basically, when the operations see the sales side, they, especially in the first couple of years in terms of coming industry, a lot of people see and they perceive it as to be glamour because they say, okay, there's a salesperson entertaining, wining, dining, travel, and so forth from there, but there's a lot more to it versus, just wining, dining, client, because there's a lot of competition that you're actually facing with and competing for your particular piece of business and competing with another hotel. Could be downtown, could be another state basically, but there's a lot of opportunities with it as well. Like I said, you want it to be in the sales side as well. You've seen me in action a few times as well, bring clients around. Like I said, it looks glamorous, but it's a lot of work and dedication to it as well, and it all starts from basically establishing your rapport. When you first, I can give you a little background basically when I started in the sales aspect of it. When I started my career in the sales side as well in Philadelphia many years ago, I don't want to say fell into my lap basically, but there was an opportunity where there was one of my colleagues who left, and I was pretty much thrown into the fire basically, and pretty much had to fend for myself and just learning the ropes from that point on. I was fortunate also to have actually a mentor, and that mentor actually guided me within my first 4 years of my career and pretty much helped me from there. to continue to grow throughout that. But overall, you start out in sales, basically, you actually, develop a client list. Once you develop a client list and rapport, you can actually take that client with you for many different hotels or for many years in your industry as well. The most important aspect of it as well to think about is you always want to continue to develop and continue to keep in touch with that first or second client, third client from there, because you never know exactly what's going to end up down the future. You bring that client from one hotel to the other, and basically you're pretty much marketed. Whenever a director of sales will want to come in and actually hire you, they're going to ask you exactly what clientele do you have established that you can actually bring to my hotel, or why should we hire you? And those are the different. So like I said, I was fortunate enough that I've been able to establish relationships with clients for many, many years, and they follow me from various hotels. That's one thing you want to actually have in your back pocket, basically, to continue to help yourself to grow over the years as well. Going back again in terms of the industry as well, there's a lot of competition. I mean, I work at Turnberry Isle, but again, I have my sister hotel, which is the Fountain as well, about a circle family. And we might both be competing for the same type of business as well. But again, we have to go about it in different ways. They're a beach resort, we're a golf resort. And again, it's all going to come back to the client exactly. What it is that you want, and do you want to golf or do you want a resort? Price factor, you got to think about it as well. And how can I beat out my counterpart, say for example, the Fontainebleau, and bring it to the Turnberry Isle? So those are questions you're going to have to ask your clients exactly. What's important to you? Once you've established exactly what's important to you, then from there, you can actually write a proposal to send it to the clients and say, okay, this is what I'd like to offer to you. And hopefully the client will respond back to you and say, okay, I'd like to give you an opportunity. These are what's important to me. But then again, from there, then you're going to continue to work with the client and find out exactly what else is important to the client and actually help them to secure that piece of business as well. The other aspect of it as well is once you've established a good relationship with one client, you don't want to let it go because you never know, maybe the next year the client will return. And that's pretty much what I bank on a daily basis as well. If a client actually wants to extend their contract into a second and third year, that even makes your job much easier as well. I'm responsible for a $4 million goal as well, and that's overall between guest rooms as well as the food and beverage contribution as well. So the more repeat piece of business that I establish and book as well, it makes my goal reachable and achievable as well from there. The other part of it as well is there can be some fun part of it as well because I'm actually on the road quite a bit of time throughout the entire year, depending exactly what my clientele is. I'm going there to see my clients, either to educate them or to actually promote the hotel. It could be educational conferences or it could actually be in their office specifically on a daily basis. What's best basically for some hotelers is to go and actually visit those clients once or twice a year. Once you're visiting once or twice a year, that actually helps them actually to become more familiar with your product. And that's basically what you want to do on a daily basis as well. You always send out, either after the thank you note, just want to say I want to follow with you, make sure that everything's going great. So whenever they're ready to plan their meeting, they know that you reach out to them, you're really considering the property as well, and they will always remember you from there. Anything specific that I can actually answer for you or other thoughts in terms of guidance, in terms of going from the sales side as well, the operation side of it as well. Like I said, the operation side of it, when I started my career, I did 3 years in reservations, and that's where I actually really was able to work my way up as well. The operations, I get to think about this as well. And nothing against between operations and sales, but overall, when you're in operations, you're going to be working some days, 7 days a week. You're not going to have set schedules as well, so that's something you want to think about as well, because whenever they need you, you're pretty much going to have to be on call. You could be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, basically you're the manager on duty. You're going to be called upon to actually answer those questions or be there whenever there's a problem from there.
Do you consider the revenue management function part of the sales operation?
That's correct, exactly, yes.
Is your revenue manager certified? Do they have a certificate?
They do have some certification in revenue management as well,
but yours has it?
No, do not, exactly. And when you look at the industry overall, there are not many certifications in the different sectors in the hospitality industry. I'm fortunate enough to have my M.B.A, but you have most of the individuals as well, especially on the conference services side, on the catering side, that have their certification in CMP, basically. And the CMP basically helps them to assist in terms of booking catering events or servicing particular.
That stands for CMP, sir?
Yes. Certified Meeting Planner.
Okay, and you pass a GM?
Yeah.
Oh, because you put in what class you take it with Beckman, no? Or
Brady,
Huh?
with Professor Brady.
Oh, and then you took the exam?
Yep.
Yeah, because I saw your business card. That's a good one.
Yeah,
We like
certification,
that.
especially doing a great on the sales side of it or catering side of it as well, it's great to have the CMP as well because a lot of especially employers look at that. If you have that certification, even if you don't want to be on the hotel side of it, if you want to be a meeting planner, you have your CMP on there, that's the volumes basically. But overall, the CMP exam, I've known colleagues who've been in the industry 20, 30 years, and it's not a very easy exam. So kudos to you for passing the exam because it takes a lot of knowledge and knowing all the facts basically of the hotel operations overall.
No, and with the SHIA, which we are also stressing here, that's for really, probably your hotel using the STR reports. I mean, the reports that supposedly he probably using it to, develop his marketing plan and see how is the competition doing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty.
we have, again, part of the competition basically competing with other hotels as well is you have comp sets as well. So
Yeah.
you do have like a comp set 1 or comp set 2, depending on the type
So
of
you remember.
hotel you are exactly who you're competing with. But
Who do you consider basically your concept?
so again, we have, a couple years back when we were Fairmont, we actually had 2 different comp sets, and now we are just generating basically 1 comp set. So our biggest competition would be Trump Doral. Then behind it, then PGA, and the reason behind that basically, you look at the golf component as well of the hotel, almost similar size from there. And then from there, then we go into the Los Miami Beach, the Fountainwood Hotel as well.
Okay.
And they don't necessarily have to be here in South Florida. They actually can be, within the state as well, similar. And, you reach that basically determining exactly who your major competitions are whenever you come up against a particular group as well. You have the Ritz Naples will be a competition of us as well because, again, almost same property structure in terms of guest rooms and meeting space overall. Again, so it doesn't necessarily have to be within the same city or within the same state as well to compete with. Going back into operations, answer some questions for you.
Yes, let's just say I just wanted to go into the sales team, for example, under you. Which are the advice that we give you at the beginning that I won't make enough mistakes at the beginning so I can start fresh and very well in a way because you have your mentor and guiding you in a way, and would you be able to do the same thing?
Right. So you want to transition basically from operations basically into the sales or catering as well.
Yes,
So
start from sales and try to go to operations.
from sales to operation or the operations to sales.
Which one?
So I've seen quite a bit over the years as well. A lot of, matter of fact, there's an alumni that works in our office as well, and he went from operations to the sales side of it. And what the transition I've seen basically is going from the operation basically into a sales coordinator. From there, you get a good aspect exactly of what it entails in terms of doing either sales or catering. And from there, then you pretty much work your way up as well. Again, my best recommendation as well, you get a mentor, especially, you're in school and you're ready to pretty much look into the industry to go overall. Once you get that mentor that can actually guide you to the right place, you can pretty much grow and pick that individual's brain and say, okay, what do you think? Where should I go? What should I do? And from there, if you get the opportunity, definitely there's some great, it's not as prevalent today as it was many years back in terms of internships as well into the sales department. I was fortunate that I had a student from Boston University several years back, and I had her for 3 months basically, so I was able to pretty much structure her in terms of where she wanted to pretty much go from there as well. So again, when you look at it today, there are not many hotels that are offering that opportunity for internships, and in most cases, they're unpaid internships as well. I don't believe there are any that are paid, but again, it's a great opportunity to, once you get into the internship, to really get a good aspect exactly. Do I want to be in operations? Do I want to be in sales? Do I want to be in catering or banquet from there? But again, something to really think about, and then get a mentor. Just find that one person who can answer some questions for you in terms of guiding you in the right direction from there as well. But again, when you mentioned operations, is it going to be housekeeping? Is it going to be front office? Is it going to be banquets? And is it going to be restaurant? So those are the things you want to think about. Any specific areas in operations?
I've been to the food and beverage
Food and
side.
beverage,
I looked at that.
Right.
I found myself that I was great in the service part and trying to manage my people to be in a way to give a great service.
Sure.
Well, I just didn't really like the food and beverage section because dealing with food, people are all kinds of different people. Usually in the morning, it's hard.
Sure.
People just woke up and
Yeah.
it's a bit harsh. You have to be very patient with them and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
But I'm morally, I'm very, I pay attention to a lot of details. So I think I'd be more efficient in the operation side and try to direct people where to go and basically try to manage them.
Right.
Make the service great, or whatever the job description is, to make it great.
Exactly, yeah, the food operations side of it it's not necessarily my forte, but basically it's a great area as well. We've seen a lot of growth in that area in the last couple of years. Now that from an active manager, then basically from there into food and beverage directors. And in most cases, some food and beverage directors have gone on to become managing director as well, similar to Turnberry. We have Jeff Klein, who is food and beverage director at Fountain Blue, and then he joined Turnberry quite a few months, almost a year now as well. And for you?
So you've experienced operations and sales. I'm curious, so what's your ultimate goal? Is it to open up your own hotel and find funding, or?
Not necessarily, so most individuals who actually go onto the sales side, basically, they either want to stay in that, either as a sales manager, a sales director, or a director of sales and marketing. So that's basically where a lot of opportunities lie from. For me, I've been doing this for quite some time as well, and changed various hotels as well. My next level basically would be going to become director of group sales and then director of sales and marketing overall.
Okay.
And so you see the different chain basically, it's director of sales and marketing. You actually oversee not only the sales side as well, but you also oversee the catering side as well. So it's quite a bit of responsibility as well, but again, it's the knowledge and background that you have. It could be, you may go to one particular hotel, and if it's a small hotel, there may just be one director of sales, and that director of sales is overseeing everyone, basically, but again, it comes down to how large a property is.
That's cool. Are you familiar with the Aventura Hotel?
I'm familiar with Aventura, yes, exactly.
One of the managers there, his name's James, he's a really good guy. He's been in like operations and sales, kind of like you.
Mhm.
You actually kind of remind me of him, but he has a consulting company that he kind of works with because he's had so much experience.
Right,
And he's actually making like some pretty good money while he works at the hotel at the same time
right.
through I guess all of his experience in like helping
Right.
other hotels
Mhm.
open or fix a bad scenario or whatever. So that could be a good opportunity too.
Absolutely, and like I said, what I've seen as well is, once you get into especially the hotel side of the business, you get in it, it's almost in your blood. I've seen a lot of people who've been in it for 15 years, or individuals who have left and then came back because they missed it so much as well. There's a lot of fun to it as well. Like I said, with my responsibility, I cover the western part of the United States and then as well as Europe. I have a few clients in Latin America, so I travel towards destination. Sometimes it could be 2 days to 3 days, sometimes it could be a week, just depending exactly where my clients' needs are, basically. But overall, there's a lot of fun into it as well. When individuals do leave from this industry after spending 20, 30 years from there, basically, they've left to go on to become meeting planners. Again, I mentioned going back to the CMT as well, the Helms Briscoe of the world, the Conference Direct, the HPNs, those individuals from the hotel side and sales side, they're bringing their knowledge and exactly what their expectations are, knowing exactly how to really work with a client, and then basically, it's just a matter of coming up with that. Once you have 1 or 2 clients, and those clients actually book a lot of business, you pretty much can make a lot of money from there. To give you a prime example, I knew this other gentleman from another hotel for several years, and I was very surprised when he actually left the industry. He went on to become the meeting planner with Helms Briscoe, and pretty much at about 35 years old, basically he one of like the top producers at Helms Briscoe, clearing basically almost like $300,000 a year, because it's generating for the company over $35 million a year. So again, it's just a matter of once you start in the career, building yourself, establish yourself, build a rapport, and the more you go out there and show your face, and basically, individuals know who you are, sky's the limit. You're bound to go, leaps and bounds to get to where you want to go.
I think that's a great thing about sales is that kind of like owning your own business, you get paid off of how hard you work, like commissions, for example.
True.
So if you're in operations, you're working your ass off, and you're getting paid the same thing no matter what. But in sales, you can kind of work the niche a little bit and get paid, like a surplus.
Yeah, there's a lot of pluses and negatives about both parts of it as well. I'm not going to talk about the negative, of course, but it's a lot of fun. You just go in there and you have to have a positive attitude every day, basically, because there's just so much to learn and to see. And like I said, once you find a client, or one client who can become your best friend, and one example, I have a client that I've known now for definitely over 10 years, and she still comes back to me, basically bringing back business almost on an annual basis as well. So it's just finding that right opportunity for you as well, and to think exactly what you're going to do. The one definitely good advice I have, especially when you're doing business, just have fun. Have as much fun as possible. If you enjoy traveling, don't sit back and wait for your friend because they don't have cash and you have cash and you want to travel. Go see the world. There's just so much opportunity. I wasted 2 years of being in my career not doing any traveling, and now once I got that niche into my blood and traveling now, it's the best opportunity as well. You want to see exactly how people are living outside of the U.S., other countries as well, language barriers as well. Just great opportunity. It comes back, when you do come back and go back to work, it gives you great appreciation of what you actually have and exactly really, really want to go in your career.
Any perspective change?
Perspective change, absolutely, absolutely. So it's been great.
But when you say travel that you hope to do it, you mean for the business or you?
Both.
Both?
Yes.
Culture difference.
Yes, culture difference, exactly.
So you have to travel a lot for your job, for your
Yes,
work?
last year I traveled over 50,000 miles last year for work.
International or local?
I did do it international last year. I did all domestic. So I spent a lot of time in California. Sometimes, the same. I did 3 back-to-back trips to Vegas last year, and they were like 2 weeks apart from each other for different conferences. And then, going back to August, then it was like 2 back-to-backs between San Diego and Seattle. So it really comes down to exactly where your clients are, the need for those conferences and everything. And like I said, it's work most of the time, educational, or just going to visit clients. And then there's opportunities as well. You're going for entertainment purposes as well to go entertain the clients as well. Because again, as much as you want the client to bring the business to you as well, you need to show appreciation to the client as well. So, I hosted 2 different concerts last year as well, bringing about 20 clients to those events, to the Taylor Swift concert as well. So bring those clients in, and you get to really bond with the clients, and then you leave from that experience, and then maybe you won't get the business right there and then after the conference, but you were already in the concert. But wait until a month or 2, 3 months down the line, the client say, hey, I remember the concert, I had a great time, I do have a piece of business for you. Pays for the trip.
So invest in people and
You
people
invest in
invest in you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So again, it's a great opportunity.
And as a profession, salespeople, is there a lot of, first of all, 2 questions. Traveling normally, maybe in your case that's what happened, but on average, there's a lot of traveling. And number 2, what about international opportunities? To locate, to work outside.
Right, so let me go back to travel for 1 second here. So what happens is basically at either the end of the year, from the previous year, basically, director of sales and marketing or director of sales established overall budget basically in terms of travel. And that really comes down to exactly structuring amongst how many individuals are on the team. And from there, then you determine exactly what's most important for the team in terms of, what piece of the business and basically where the business is coming from. So for example, when you look at Turnberry, where most of the business is generated from, you look at the Northeast, and then you go to the Southeast, and the Midwest, and then the West Coast as well. So you want to concentrate on that specific sales individual, then go on and travel to the Northeast to see as many of their clients as possible. Have them come down, and that's where the majority of the bread and butter is coming from, the Northeast. So you may travel to that destination 4 or 5 times a year, and then into the West Coast. But again, it's not necessarily always to see the client. It could be for educational purposes, find out exactly how do I do my job better, and to see the clients, or is there a conference, something different going on. So, when you do that as well, then you become, stronger in your career. Like I said, for me, last year was a much busier year than previous years as well. Maybe instead of, 50,000 miles, the 20,000 miles is pretty much an average for me, but last year was just one of those, basically. We do have individuals in the sales side as well, based on their responsibility, that will handle international as well. And it could be on the leisure side, not just the group side, and they will travel to that specific destination then to go see the clients or do other educational meetings as well in order to generate revenue back for the hotel.
In the type of work that they do, what would be the differences between leisure and corporate?
So the difference between that, basically, again, you're going there to meet the clients basically and promote the destinations more. So you're promoting, you could actually go to one of those leisure trips then basically to see a client, and you're not going to see one client. There is, for example, IMAX. I don't know if you've heard of IMAX. So there's IMAX America and there's IMAX Europe. So IMAX Europe started many, many years ago. It's the first, and then IMAX USA, which is in Vegas every October. And when you go to this conference, you're on your feet basically from pretty much 8 a.m. until almost 5 p.m. 2-3 days a week for the week basically. And then you're talking to not 5 individuals.
Thousands.
you're talking to a lot of individuals and you're being repetitive, just constantly talking. And you have a presentation going on there as well. So on the leisure side, that's predominantly what they actually do. They're going to do presentations and either, talking and promoting the hotel more than I do. On the sales side, you do that as well, but not as many clients in one spot as you would do on the leisure side. To go from there.
I think for young entrepreneurs and young people that are trying to graduate, the conference style would be very interesting because if you're representing a company and you have a lot of people coming into you, you keep talking, being uncomfortable, and just to be able to find your centerpiece.
Sure.
And you just keep going back and forth. People. As you said, you meet hundreds of people. But the good thing is everybody's different.
Sure.
And you get to know everybody else. And you try to give them time and everything and try to explain well and everything and try to have the feedback, which is great as well.
Yeah, it's like I said, there are so many different elements to it as well, and the good thing is that and every year it's not always the same because you do get the different sectors that go up and down every other year. The technology may be strong in 2015, and then 16 it may not be as strong. So you really have to look at the market as well, see what's actually going on in order to keep up. And you got to keep up with different trends exactly. What's important to a client, the last couple of years, basically, when you go to a conference, basically, it's come down to technology. You want to make sure you have high-speed internet that's actually going on in your conference area as well in order to keep on what's going on in the outside world. And if your internet is not as strong as possible, that may not be a successful conference overall. But again, you just have to go out there and find out exactly what your niche is and what's important to the client and how we can actually make sure that it's a good conference or a good operations as well. You want to make sure that you're providing great service. We're also, there's so many standards that every hotel is actually going through right now to make sure that they're above the other competitors as well. So, anything specific for you? I know you've not heard much, but
Yeah, I have a few questions actually. First is, as a novice sales professional, how can I build a contact list from zero?
So the concept, it's not very easy at all. It always comes down to basically from your first business trip overall. Or what you can actually do then is, it doesn't have to be your first business trip actually, but you can actually go through a database that's in the system that maybe has not been penetrated for quite some time. Maybe one of the sales individuals maybe have not called that particular person years, and they can just go back and just reestablish their relationship with that client. Once you start with that, basically go from there. I go back and now in my office, and I probably have at least 2,000 business cards. And what I started to do basically is to put a rubber band around these business cards from the various trips I've had, because sometimes it's so hard to keep them because they're just all together. And so at least if somebody said, hey, what conference did you go to? And do you remember this person? I can just pull up a business card. This was a conference, this is an individual, and then in addition to that business cards, and I also have files basically from this conference, and I can always go back and keep track of what. So you want to make sure that your ROI when you go on these trips basically is paid off. So you go on a trip and a client may not have this business for you today, but you can go back 6 months from now and say, okay, I was on this trip, I met this person,
And I
remember you, and I paid for the trip basically. Because your boss is going to come back to you and say, okay, why do you want to go on this trip again next year? And you can go back and say, oh, because I went on this trip and I booked a piece of business and said I should go on this trip again for that reason. And so that's what they're looking for the ROI. But again, you go through the database and establish that, go through there and find exactly a client that has not been calling for some time, and then introduce yourself, say, okay, I'm a new person, what can I do, how can I assist you, would you consider coming back? That person said, okay, I have in the future, then you just exit off and just move on to the next client basically from there. But again, the trade show aspect, there's a lot of networking opportunities out here as well. The HSMA events, basically. I'm not as familiar with the HSMA in Florida as I was in Philadelphia. And I think one of the reasons is because the community is so broad here in South Florida, where in Philadelphia there is such a small niche community where we just pretty much know each other just from. So I may not know what's going on down in Kendall. I probably may know a few individuals on Miami Beach. But again, back in Philadelphia days, basically small community all very close together. We can definitely just feed off each other and just develop a relationship from there from some of those meetings as well. So the Meeting Planners International, that's another great one as well, to join that organization as well. There are different chapters. There's a South Florida chapter. I belong to the Southern California chapter. And from there, basically, you get established from there. You go and build a relationship. And then again, when you do go into different organizations such as this as well, you want to somewhat before as well. So some great opportunities there to think about when you go to some of these networking opportunities.
Also, I'm curious, I've seen some of the big group business that we've got at the Turnberry, like from the banking conferences to football teams and all these huge groups. So I'm curious, how does that process happen, these groups? Do they actually like get in contact with our sales department and they're looking for a hotel and they want to get a deal? Or is it that we have people that go out and they search for this type of clientele?
Right, great question. So they're all three, basically. So I could have gone out and on one of my business trips and met someone 5 years down the line, but they remember me and said, hey, I remember you, I have a great opportunity for you now. They'll go ahead and send me their RP and send their business through it, and then basically from there as well. The great thing about Turnberry, we became an autograph by Marriott in 2012. And when we became an autograph by Marriott, I was the first one to actually book a piece of business and transition from there, and it was a Microsoft conference. Since then, we've actually been able to rebook that 4 other years from there. So again, the Marriott chain, what they do, they have the national reps sitting in various offices throughout the country as well. They get in touch with the client, or the client contacts them. They feed it through channels through our internal computer system, and then send the lead to us as well. We then have to go through the sales side and then research to find out there's availability, what is going to take to book that piece of business, the right rate, the right pattern, the right fit for the hotel. Overall, generating for the room, food and beverage, room revenue, and then from there as well. But again, it's through the organization, the report building, and then through the different chains as well. We also have several different third parties as well, the Teneos of the world, the Conference Direct, the Helms Briscoes, and then some of this third parties as well. What we also have to do is we have to pay them a 10% commission as well. That 10% commission is for their services and for sending their business to us. When you look at the Teneos, the Conference Direct or the Helms Briscoes, Marriott overall, what they've done in order to facilitate and help to get more business as well, they've done 50-50. So what they do generally is, the norm is after a group has established and paid their revenue for their program at a particular hotel, you pay your 10% commission on the guest rooms. When you go to Europe, generally, they're asking for commission on the revenue for the guest rooms as well as the food and beverage. We do not do that here in the US at all. So whenever I get my clients from Europe asking a question, I said, unfortunately, we do not do that. Doesn't mean that they're not going to consider me, but basically overall, I said, unfortunately, we can only do the commission on your guest rooms as well.
That's good to know that.
Yeah, but with Marriott is established with the Conference Direct and Helms Briscoe and 2 other ones as well, and they do 50-50. So whenever the lead is sent to me, basically, and it's, say for example, it's contracted, cited with definitely with a hotel, we pay them 50% automatically right there. And then after the program is ended, then we pay the bill 50% commission after that. And what that actually does is help to facilitate, the clients that are willing to more support your property more and send them business to your hotel. So, but again, it's one of those third-party vendors that we do have, and you could be an independent meeting planner as well, and still do the same thing, but you're pretty much in most cases you're going to get your commission afterwards as well. I had a former colleague who actually, like I said, a lot of individuals after so many years, they've transitioned out of the business, and he left the business, actually, he had done his M.B.A. as well, and became an independent meeting planner, very successful at it. And he went out, and basically, you're pretty much generating your income from commissions. So you have to stay on top of it, build a rapport as well, continue going out there and feed it, because it's your business. It's your business, and if your business is not successful, you won't be as well. So it's a lot of work, a lot of dedication, but overall, if you stay focused and know exactly, this is what I want to do, then basically you can actually make it.
Also, I know you don't work in revenue management yourself, but I imagine you're around it all the time since you probably work with Oliver a lot. I'm just curious as to the whole process of, okay, we have a group or a conference or something happen, we have a lot of guests coming in. How does he adjust the ADR and all the other factors in to make it, I guess, most appealing and also at the same time most profitable? Sure.
So, the revenue manager is probably one of the most hated individuals in the sales office. Basically, the sales individual fight with the revenue manager, but overall, the revenue manager is in charge of developing, establishing as much revenue for the hotel as possible. Because if your property is not profitable, They're gonna come back and blame the revenue manager, because the revenue manager is not only responsible for the sales aspect of it, overall, all the other activities as well. You're talking about in the operation from the front desk, the reservations as well. He kind of guides the property in terms of, what your labor is overall. If your occupancy is, gonna be 100%, you wanna make sure you're properly staffed. Because the worst thing you wanna do is actually pay out, to a client basically for services that was not rendered. So you want to make sure that, the revenue right is there. But one of the reasons I said it was probably not the most favorable individual in the hotel side of it as well, because I have a client who called me and said, okay, I want to have a conference at Turnberry, for example. My budget is only $199, but you want to have it in January. That's when you want to have your conference. In January, the peak season here in South Florida. Peak season basically can be in late December all the way through mid-May. And so the rate varies, it could be in your 400 into basically going to May and basically going down to as low as maybe 199 or 229 basically. So for example, you came to me and said, okay, my budget is 199, I'm going to ask you basically, are you flexible with your dates? If your dates are not flexible, I may say, unfortunately I can't consider your program because again, it's not the right time for us as well, losing revenue. If your dates are flexible, then I try to guide you in the right day that makes sense for the hotel overall. So my responsibility then is to go to Oliver and say, Oliver, let's look at this. This is what we did last year. And this is where, we were sitting this maybe 30 days out, 60 days out from the actual group's arrival. If it makes sense for the hotel, I'll consider it. But if not, then unfortunately I have to walk away from it as well. So for example, there's another scenario as well. We had a client last week who called me and said, I want to bring my conference to Turnberry, but he said we only have 50 guest rooms. It's in June, 50 guest rooms, but I want 10,000 square feet of meeting space. Now I have 408 total guest rooms, 40,000 square feet of meeting space, and 110. You're pretty much taking almost a quarter of my meeting space. Or actually, he wanted more than 10,000. He wanted almost 15,000. So a little bit over a quarter of my. So I said, unfortunately, I'm sitting wide open. It's June. It's off peak as well. If you're 30 days out, I'd probably consider you, but because you're 4 or 5 months out, unfortunately, I cannot because I'll be displacing revenue. It's a rooms to space ratio. So you have to put your thinking cap on, and you have to pretty much be a novice. And after many years of the industry, you kind of know exactly what the right piece of business is for the hotel. An individual that might just be coming in the first year may not know, that's not a good piece of business as well. So you have to really think about exactly what's best for the hotel and what overall will be more profitable for the hotel to go from there. So again, you think about the different revenue factors as well. We may go back to the revenue manager and say, okay, we want to really, and it may just not take one conversation. It could take 5, 6 conversations, getting even the managing director involved in the conversation. Do we take this piece of business? Because we really want to get a piece of business for the hotel, but it has to be the right piece of business for the hotel in order to consider it.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions I can answer?
That's it.
Well, definitely, it's been a pleasure. I said my recommendation to you: go out and have fun. I'm here to answer other questions for you. Find that mentor. Travel the world, and you'll see, have as much as possible. Take advantage of all the different benefits and discounts that wherever your property you may work at, and definitely enjoy the world to see how other people live and work as well. Come back and make you remember how it as well.
Kevin, thank you for
Thank you
everything.
very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks so much.